The council voted to exile Earth, and humanity departed without a word. Delegates from hundreds of alien civilizations filled the room, their bodies strange and varied, yet all equally focused on one thing: the fate of Earth. For centuries, humans had drawn attention, sometimes admiration, often fear. Their inventions, their curiosity, their stubborn nature had caused both wonders and troubles across the galaxy. Liam Carter, an engineer on Earth, had no idea about the Council or its latest meeting. He was working late in the central lab of New Chicago, checking the integrity of a new propulsion system that could take humans beyond the solar system faster than ever before. He rubbed his tired eyes and sighed, thinking about the endless nights of preparation. He loved building things, solving problems, making the impossible real. His sister, Olivia Carter, was sitting nearby in the communications hub, her fingers dancing over keyboards. She intercepted signals from satellites, translating them into useful data. Olivia had always been the careful one, precise and calm. Liam often joked that if he was the spark, she was the safety switch. Across the galaxy, in the council chambers, voices rose and fell like storms. The debate about humans had lasted for hours. Some delegates, tall and green with translucent skin, argued that humans were unpredictable and dangerous. "Their technology grows faster than any of us can control," one said, its voice like the hum of electricity. "They will outpace all of our rules and threaten the balance of the galaxy." Others disagreed. They argued that humans had potential to contribute greatly if guided. "They can be chaotic," a short, round creature said, "but we cannot ignore their creativity. We could learn from them, gain from their inventions." The chair of the council, a glowing entity with no fixed shape, called for the final vote. "All in favor of exile?" it asked. A majority of hands, tentacles, and energy fields rose. The decision was made. Earth was to be exiled, removed from galactic trade, and forbidden from interstellar diplomacy. On Earth, no one knew what had happened yet. Humans had long suspected that alien civilizations might one day try to control them, but the vote was still secret. Liam stretched, leaning back in his chair. "It's just another long night," he said to Olivia, who shook her head. "It's more than that," she said quietly. "I've been tracking some unusual signals. They're not ours. Someone out there is watching us. Maybe they are already deciding something about our planet." Liam frowned. "Like aliens?" Olivia nodded. "Maybe, but I don't think it's friendly. We need to be ready." The council chambers echoed with final arguments. A small, blue-skinned delegate spoke last. "Humans will leave if we push them. We cannot stop them. We can exile them, but they will not beg. They never beg. They act." That was the truth, though no one on Earth knew it yet. Humans had always acted when the time came. They did not wait for permission or approval. By the next morning, the first steps of humanity's quiet plan had begun. It started with simple things: moving critical data to hidden servers, building secret storage for advanced engines, and preparing massive ships for travel beyond the solar system. These ships were not ordinary. They could leave quietly without alerts and travel faster than any known starship. Ethan Brooks, a pilot chosen for the First Fleet, ran final tests on his ship. He was tall, with short brown hair and a steady hand. He had always dreamed of exploring space, but never imagined it would be like this, leaving his home planet because powerful aliens had decided it must go. He looked out the small window of the hangar. Earth glimmered below, blue and green, familiar and beautiful. "We're really doing this," he whispered to himself. His co-pilot, Maria Jenkins, stood beside him, her dark hair tied back in a tight braid. "We have to," she said. "We can't argue with them. If they exile us, we leave. No noise, no fight, just go." In New Chicago, Liam and Olivia worked tirelessly. Liam was in the lab, adjusting the final controls of a fleet ship. Olivia was in the communications hub, monitoring every satellite, every signal, making sure no message was intercepted by alien watchers. They both understood what this moment meant. It was the end of one life and the beginning of another. Families, engineers, pilots, scientists, all over Earth were doing the same thing. Cities buzzed quietly, unnoticed by anyone outside. Humanity had chosen its path. They would not beg, they would not protest. They would simply leave. The council expected humans to fight, to negotiate, maybe even to cry for mercy. But humans did not act that way. They never had. Across history, whenever humans were pushed to the edge, they acted with determination, intelligence, and courage. On the space station orbiting Earth, the first fleet was ready. Ethan and Maria climbed into the cockpit. The engines hummed softly, quiet enough to avoid detection by any alien watchers. Liam's team had installed the new propulsion system, capable of bending space just enough to avoid sensors. The humans were ready. In the council chambers, the vote had been recorded. Some delegates were already celebrating. Exile meant control, they thought. They assumed humans would crumble, cry, and beg for re-entry. Some even joked about watching the humans vanish. But they did not know humans at all. Back on Earth, Liam and Olivia checked the final systems. Olivia looked at her brother with seriousness. "We won't be able to communicate for a long time," she said. "We can't risk sending signals. The council would detect it." Liam nodded. "I know, but we'll be okay. We always find a way." By nightfall, the ships quietly lifted from hidden ports. Thousands of them, small and large, silently escaping the solar system. The sky above New Chicago was calm, showing only the stars. No one could guess that the greatest human exodus in history had begun. Ethan's ship led the fleet. Maria guided him through careful navigation, avoiding detection, using all the tricks humans had developed over years of preparation. Earth shrank behind them, but no one on board felt fear. There was only determination, a silent pride that humans had chosen dignity over desperation. On Earth, the streets emptied of those who had joined the fleets. Liam stayed behind to make sure the last systems were operational. Olivia stayed by his side, making the final checks. "It's strange," she said. "We're leaving everything behind, our homes, our cities, our history, but it doesn't feel like loss, it feels like freedom." Liam smiled. "Freedom is what they wanted to take from us, but they cannot take it, not really. We carry it with us. Wherever we go, it goes too." As the ships moved further from the solar system, their engines bending light and space, the Galactic Council finally realized the mistake they had made. Humans were gone. Not in rebellion, not in anger, but in quiet, unstoppable action. Exile was meant to punish, but it had shown something greater: humanity's intelligence, patience, and courage. Ethan looked out at the stars, the endless black sprinkled with shining points of light. "Do you think they understand yet?" he asked Maria. Maria shook her head. "No. They never will, they only see what they want. But that's okay. We don't need their approval, we only need each other." In the council chambers, reports came in slowly. Every sensor that could track the humans showed nothing. The humans had left without a single message, without a single protest. Panic began to spread among the delegates. Some realized that they had underestimated the humans. Others refused to believe it, thinking humans would return in defeat. Back on the fleet, Liam, Olivia, Ethan, Maria, and countless others kept moving forward. They were leaving not out of fear, but out of choice. They were carrying their knowledge, their culture, their determination, and their unity into a galaxy that had tried to control them. And in that quiet, bold departure, humans made the first true statement of their strength. They did not need permission, they did not need validation, and they would never beg. As the last ship left the solar system, Liam looked back once more. Earth was a tiny blue dot shining quietly in the void. He whispered to himself, "Goodbye, Earth, we will honor you, we will survive, we will thrive." No one on the council saw it, no one on Earth announced it, and no alien civilization would believe it for years. But humanity had acted, and that action, silent and determined, was louder than any words or protests could ever be. The stars ahead were unknown, full of dangers, wonders, and mysteries, but humanity was ready. Together they were unstoppable. And thus, without anger, without fighting, without a word, humanity began its journey beyond the stars. The human fleet moved quietly through space, leaving the solar system behind. Thousands of ships, large and small, glided through the dark, their engines barely visible, bent around light so that no alien sensors could detect them. Inside each ship, humans worked tirelessly, watching their instruments, checking propulsion systems, and monitoring life support. Ethan Brooks sat in the cockpit of his ship, staring at the stars ahead. The blackness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with tiny points of light that seemed calm but hid many dangers. Beside him, Maria Jenkins adjusted the navigation controls, her eyes sharp and steady. "We're clear for now," she said. "No signals, nothing unusual." "Just the stars," Ethan nodded. "Good, but we can't assume it will stay like this. We need to stay alert. The council might still be trying to find us." Back on Earth, Liam and Olivia Carter had boarded their own ship. Liam spent hours monitoring engines and adjusting propulsion. Olivia kept track of communications, making sure that all transmissions were secure and untraceable. "We're leaving everything behind," Olivia said quietly as she looked at the last image of Earth on her screen. "It's strange, but we have to. This is our only chance." Liam nodded. "We're not leaving just because of fear. We're leaving because we choose to live on our own terms. That's what makes humans strong." For days, the fleet moved steadily through space. The humans followed careful routes designed to avoid any alien patrols or sensors. They used newly developed propulsion systems that bent light and created small distortions in space, making them nearly invisible to the watchful eyes of the Council. Life on the ships was not easy. Supplies had to be rationed, engines required constant maintenance, and the crews worked in shifts to avoid exhaustion. Still, there was a sense of pride among the humans. They were the first to leave the solar system without begging for permission, without asking for help, and without fighting a war. In one of the large colony ships, Clara Morgan, a young scientist, studied maps of nearby star systems. She had been chosen to find safe paths, planets with resources, and possible new homes for humanity. "The universe is bigger than we imagined," she said to a small group of scientists around her. "There are dangers, yes, but also opportunities. We can make this work if we stay smart and work together." Across the fleet, small teams faced challenges that tested human ingenuity. One ship passed too close to an asteroid field. Lucas Bennett, a navigator, worked quickly to adjust the ship's course. "We need to go through this corridor," he said, pointing to a screen filled with spinning rocks. "It's risky, but if we calculate the angles carefully, we can make it." The crew followed his instructions, moving slowly and precisely. Meteors brushed past the ship, some colliding lightly with the hull, making small sparks, but the ship survived. When the last asteroid passed, the crew cheered quietly. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. On another ship, a group of engineers discovered a malfunction in one of the propulsion engines. Without it, the ship could not keep pace with the fleet. Hannah Reed, a medical officer trained in engineering basics, worked with the engineers to find a solution. "We can't wait for someone else to fix it," she said. "We have to do it ourselves." Hours passed as they dismantled the engine, cleaned its parts, and made careful adjustments. Finally, the engine roared to life again, and the ship fell back into formation with the fleet. Each success reminded humans of their strength. They could solve problems, adapt, and survive in ways that others could not. As the fleet traveled deeper into unknown space, strange signals began to appear. Some were natural, like bursts of energy from distant stars. Others were mysterious, difficult to explain. Ethan and Maria analyzed one signal that pulsed in a pattern they had never seen. "It's not random," Maria said. "Someone or something is sending this intentionally." Ethan frowned. "Do you think it's an alien, maybe the Council?" Maria shook her head. "I don't know, but we need to be careful. Let's avoid responding until we understand it." Meanwhile, Clara Morgan led a team studying the signals. "They could be a warning," she said, "or they could be a challenge. Either way, we need to prepare for anything. We can't rely on luck." Despite the dangers, humans continued their journey with determination. Each day brought new problems, but each day also brought new solutions. The humans adapted quickly, using creativity, teamwork, and careful thinking to overcome obstacles. One night, as ships passed through a dark sector filled with nebulae, a sudden energy storm struck the fleet. Lightning-like discharges from distant stars filled the instruments with static, making navigation difficult. Ships were pushed off course, and communication became almost impossible. Ethan's ship rocked violently. "Hold on," he shouted. The lights flickered and the engine warnings began to beep. Maria worked quickly, rerouting power and stabilizing the ship. "We can get through this," she said. "Just follow my lead." After hours of careful navigation, the fleet emerged from the storm. Ships were damaged, but no one was lost. The humans took the time to repair and regroup, learning from the storm and improving their systems. Every challenge made them stronger, every danger made them more capable. In the calm after the storm, Liam Carter looked out at the stars. "We've been pushed to the edge," he said to Olivia. "But we survived, and that's what humans do. We survive, we adapt, and we keep moving forward." Olivia nodded. "And we will continue to do that. We're not just running away. We're exploring, learning, and becoming stronger. This is our chance to show the galaxy what humans really are." As the fleet continued, small signs of life appeared on distant planets. Clara Morgan identified planets with breathable air, water, and food sources. These discoveries lifted the spirits of the crews. "We can build homes here," she said. "We can survive. We don't need the Council to approve us. We can make our own future." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council remained unaware of the humans' progress. They expected humans to struggle, to return in defeat, or to beg for re-entry into the galaxy. But humans had chosen a different path: quiet determination and careful action. Ethan and Maria continued to guide their fleet, teaching new crews how to avoid hazards and maintain engines. They encouraged teamwork and calm decision-making. "Panic doesn't help anyone," Ethan said. "We use our minds, our training, and our courage. That's how humans succeed." On another ship, Hannah Reed and her team repaired life support systems that had been damaged in the storm. She watched as engineers worked together, improvising solutions using parts they had on hand. "We can make anything work if we try," she said. "That's what makes us human." Even when the fleet faced a large asteroid belt, humans adapted. Lucas Bennett calculated paths through the rocks with precision, while Ethan and Maria guided the ships. No one panicked. Each ship followed instructions, moving as one organized force. The fleet passed safely, the humans proving that they could face challenges with intelligence and teamwork. As days turned into weeks, humans discovered something unexpected. Even in deep space, they were capable of growth. New strategies, new inventions, and new ways of working together emerged. They shared ideas, solved problems, and built systems that would keep them safe for years to come. Clara Morgan looked at the maps, smiling. "We are discovering not just new space, but new ways to be human." "We are stronger than we ever imagined," Ethan Brooks agreed. "We were afraid at first, but every challenge proves that we are ready. No one can stop humans when we act together." In the darkness of space, the fleet moved steadily. Each ship was a small world, carrying families, engineers, scientists, and pilots. Each person contributed to the survival of humanity. Together, they were unstoppable. The humans' journey was far from easy. Storms, asteroids, and strange signals tested their skills and patience. But each challenge also strengthened them, proving that humans were capable of facing the unknown with courage, intelligence, and determination. By the end of the second week, the fleet had traveled farther than any human had ever been. The solar system was a distant memory, and Earth a tiny dot of blue light. Yet no one on the fleet felt despair. There was only hope, pride, and determination. Liam Carter and Olivia Carter worked side by side, maintaining engines and systems. Ethan and Maria led navigation and safety. Clara Morgan studied maps and signals. Hannah Reed repaired and improved life support systems. Each human played a role, and each role was important. Humans were no longer just a species of Earth. They were explorers, survivors, and pioneers. They had left behind the Council, the galaxy's rules, and even their home planet. But they carried with them something greater than any alien could take: human spirit, ingenuity, and unity. And so the fleet moved onward, deeper into unknown space. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of challenges, wonders, and mysteries. But humans faced them together, proving that when a species acts with courage, intelligence, and determination, nothing can stop them. In the quiet of the fleet, as ships traveled through dark space and distant light, the humans slept, worked, and prepared. They were moving into a future of their own making, learning to survive and thrive where no human had gone before. And even in the vast emptiness of space, the humans never forgot one truth. They had chosen their path, and they would follow it no matter what. The human fleet moved farther into unknown space, leaving behind the familiar stars of their home system. Days turned into weeks, and the humans began to face dangers that no one had predicted. Some were natural: massive asteroid fields, unstable nebulae, and energy storms. Others were strange: signals and anomalies that seemed to watch them from afar. Ethan Brooks sat in the cockpit of his ship, scanning the dark expanse ahead. Beside him, Maria Jenkins studied the navigation console, carefully adjusting their course. "We're approaching a sector with unusual readings," Maria said. "There's energy here that doesn't match any star or planet. We need to be careful." Ethan nodded. "Let's keep a safe distance, but we can observe. Maybe it's a natural phenomenon, or maybe it's something else." On another ship, Clara Morgan and her team were analyzing signals they had been receiving for days. The pulses were rhythmic, almost like a language. Clara frowned. "This isn't random," she said. Someone or something is trying to communicate. We need to figure out what it means. Lucas Bennett, the navigator, leaned over her shoulder. Could it be aliens? Maybe a species we haven't met before? Maybe, Clara said. Or maybe it's a trap. We have to be careful. Humans don't just rush into danger. We observe, we learn, and then we act. Life on the fleet was challenging. Food, water, and energy were all carefully managed. Every person had a role. Engineers repaired engines and propulsion systems. Medical officers treated minor injuries and fatigue, and pilots trained for long journeys through dangerous space. Despite the hard work, morale was high. Humans had left Earth quietly without begging or fighting, and they knew they were capable of surviving anything. One day, the fleet approached a massive asteroid belt unlike any they had seen before. The rocks were enormous, some kilometers across, spinning slowly in space. Ethan's ship took the lead, guiding the fleet through the belt. Maria adjusted the course continuously, while sensors detected every possible collision. "Lucas, calculate a safe path," Ethan said. "We can't afford any mistakes." Lucas worked quickly, drawing routes on the navigation screens. "There's a narrow corridor here," he said. "If we move carefully, we can pass through without damage, but it will take all our focus." The fleet moved slowly, every ship following the calculated path. Rocks scraped past hulls, and some ships shook under small impacts. Engineers worked nonstop to fix minor damages, and pilots coordinated every maneuver. After hours of careful navigation, the last ship cleared the asteroid belt. The humans had survived again, showing patience, intelligence, and teamwork. As they left the asteroid belt, a strange signal appeared on Clara's instruments. It was a pulsing light in the distance, moving toward them at high speed. "It's fast," she said. "It's coming straight at us. It's intelligent, I think. It's not natural." Ethan's ship moved closer to observe. Maria checked sensors and weapons just in case. "It's huge," Maria said. "I've never seen anything like this." The object came into view. It was an alien ship, enormous and unlike any human design. Its hull shimmered with energy and strange symbols glowed along its surface. The humans held their position. They did not fire. They did not panic. They observed. A voice spoke, not in words but in a series of signals that Clara quickly translated. "Humans, identify yourselves, state purpose." Clara decoded the message and replied carefully. "We are humans. We travel to explore and survive. We mean no harm." There was silence for a long moment. Then the alien ship changed course, circling the fleet slowly. "We have not seen your kind before," the signals continued. "Your technology is advanced. Why do you leave your world without communication?" Ethan spoke to Maria quietly. "We don't answer more than we need. We can't reveal everything about our fleet yet." Clara nodded. "We will respond truthfully but cautiously. Humans do not beg or fight. We survive." After careful communication, the alien ship slowed and hovered near the fleet. The humans observed closely, noticing that the ship's energy patterns shifted when they spoke. It was intelligent, curious, and cautious. The alien finally transmitted a message. "Your actions are unusual. Most species would plead or fight. You have left quietly. We will watch you. Your survival is impressive." Ethan relaxed slightly. "They respect us, but we can't trust them yet," Clara agreed. "Respect does not mean friendship, but it means our skills are noticed. Humans are capable of more than anyone expected." In the following days, the humans learned to adapt to the presence of the alien ship. They avoided unnecessary communication, maintained formation, and continued observing the signals from space. The fleet also discovered new planets along the way. Some had water and breathable air, while others had dangerous conditions. Each discovery was a lesson, and Clara's team documented everything carefully. On one of the habitable planets, a small scouting team landed to collect samples. They were cautious, exploring only small areas at a time. Hannah Reed, overseeing medical and safety procedures, made sure the team wore protective suits and followed protocols. "We do not know what life exists here," she said. "We cannot take risks, but we must learn. Observation is our strength." The humans collected samples, analyzed the atmosphere, and confirmed that the planet could support life. This was a victory, a small step toward finding a permanent home. Meanwhile, the alien ship continued to follow the fleet at a distance. It never attacked, but its presence reminded the humans that the galaxy was full of unknowns. They had left the Council and Earth, but they were not alone. Ethan and Maria discussed the future quietly. "We need to be ready," Ethan said. We cannot assume that every encounter will be friendly. Humans survive because we act with intelligence and caution. That has to continue, Maria nodded. And we must trust our skills and each other. That's why we are here together. We can handle this. Back on the larger colony ships, Liam and Olivia Carter oversaw repairs, maintenance, and training. Every crew member learned navigation, engineering, and problem-solving skills. Humans could survive because they adapted quickly. Every obstacle became an opportunity to learn. Clara Morgan analyzed more alien signals. She began to understand patterns in their energy pulses, noticing that the aliens were observing humans, studying them. "They are cautious," Clara said, "but they are learning from us." Humans act differently from any species they have met. That is why they are curious. The fleet continued traveling, facing small hazards and large challenges. Meteors, cosmic radiation, and strange magnetic fields tested their skills. Every problem was solved through teamwork, ingenuity, and careful thinking. Humans had survived so far not because of weapons or brute force, but because of intelligence, courage, and unity. One evening, Ethan sat quietly in the cockpit looking at the stars. Maria joined him. "Do you think we will ever meet other species like them?" Ethan asked. Maria smiled slightly. "Maybe, but humans do not rely on anyone else. We survive with what we have, what we know, and what we can do together. That is why we are strong." Clara's team continued monitoring the alien ship and other signals. "Every day we learn," she said to Lucas Bennett. "Every encounter, every signal, every planet teaches us something. Humans are capable of surviving anything because we observe, plan, and act together." Days turned into weeks and the fleet moved farther from the known galaxy. The alien ship never attacked, but it stayed close enough to be noticed. It was a reminder that humans were no longer safe in familiar space. They were explorers now, pioneers in the unknown. Hannah Reed and her team made improvements to life support systems and training programs. Pilots practiced maneuvers through dangerous sectors. Engineers tested engines and propulsion. Everyone had a role, and every role was important. Humans worked together as a single, coordinated force. One morning, Clara discovered a new signal pattern. It was different from the previous alien signals, stronger and more structured. "It looks like an invitation," she said. "Someone or something is trying to communicate more directly. We need to decide if we respond." Ethan and Maria discussed it in the cockpit. "We respond carefully," Ethan said. "We do not reveal our fleet or our plans, but we do not ignore it. Humans survive because we act, not because we hide." The fleet approached the source of the signal slowly. A small alien vessel appeared, much smaller than the previous one, but clearly intelligent. Its hull was covered with strange symbols and glowing lights. It circled the human fleet, observing closely. Clara translated the signals. "They want to communicate. They seem curious, not hostile, but we must be careful. Humans do not trust easily, but we are capable of careful action." Ethan's ship stayed near the fleet, leading as usual. "We observe first," he said. "We learn, then we act. That is what humans do. That is why we survive." Over the next several days, the humans and the small alien vessel exchanged signals. The aliens shared small pieces of information about nearby star systems, while the humans provided neutral observations about planets and energy fields. Neither side revealed weaknesses. This careful interaction taught humans more than any map or signal could. They learned that intelligence could be curious, cautious, and respectful. And they learned that humans, through patience, observation, and clever thinking, could earn respect even from species far more experienced in the galaxy. By the end of the third part of their journey, humans had proven again why they were feared and admired. They had survived storms, asteroid belts, strange energy fields, and first contact with aliens. They had not begged, fought, or panicked. They had observed, learned, and acted together. In the quiet of the fleet, as stars stretched endlessly before them, Ethan, Maria, Liam, Olivia, Clara, and Hannah reflected on everything they had done. They had left Earth quietly, without argument or protest. They had faced unknown dangers and survived, and they were only getting started. Humans were no longer just a species from one small planet. They were explorers, pioneers, and survivors. They had left the Council behind, and now the galaxy itself was learning to notice them. And in that quiet strength, humans showed once more what they could do: act together, think clearly, and survive anything. The human fleet moved farther into the unknown. The stars were no longer familiar and the blackness of space seemed endless, yet humans did not fear. They had faced storms, asteroid belts, strange signals, and first contact with an alien vessel. They had survived everything so far. Ethan Brooks and Maria Jenkins guided their ship at the front of the fleet. Each day, they checked navigation, monitored engines, and studied unknown energy patterns. Maria noticed a strange planet on their sensors. "It's large and green," she said. "Atmosphere looks breathable. We should investigate." Ethan nodded. "Let's send a small team first. We can't risk the entire fleet until we know it's safe." Clara Morgan led the scouting mission. She, along with Lucas Bennett and a few others, boarded a small shuttle and approached the planet. As they entered the atmosphere, the air sensors confirmed it was safe to breathe. Water covered parts of the planet, and there were areas with land suitable for settlement. "This could be a new home," Clara said, excitement in her voice. "We need to study it carefully before deciding anything." The scouting team explored carefully. They took soil and water samples, checked for dangerous life forms, and mapped out areas for possible human settlement. Hannah Reed supervised their safety, making sure no one touched unknown plants or animals without protection. Back with the fleet, Liam and Olivia Carter kept the main ships in order. They made sure engines were running smoothly, life support systems were functional, and all crew members were alert. Humans were not reckless. They moved cautiously, using intelligence and teamwork to survive. After a few days, Clara reported back. The planet was suitable for humans. There were resources, fresh water, and land to build shelters. "We can settle here if needed," she said. "It's safe. And it could support life for a long time." The fleet stayed in orbit, studying the planet and preparing for landing. Meanwhile, the alien ship that had been following them remained nearby, observing silently. It had not attacked. It seemed curious, respectful, and cautious. Ethan spoke to Maria. "They are watching us, but we are not afraid. Humans survive because we are careful, smart, and united. That is our strength." Maria nodded. "And we will continue to be ready. We do not beg. We do not fight unless necessary. We act with intelligence and courage." As humans explored the planet, they discovered signs of life. Strange plants, small animals, and unusual minerals covered the land. Clara's team collected samples, documenting everything carefully. Humans learned from every detail, adapting their technology to new conditions. One day, while exploring a river valley, the scouting team noticed movement. A small alien creature, intelligent and cautious, watched them from a distance. It had large eyes, multiple limbs, and skin that changed color to blend with the environment. Clara stepped forward slowly, showing no hostility. "We mean no harm," she said softly. The creature tilted its head, curious but wary. It seemed to understand. Slowly it approached, observing the humans' actions. Lucas whispered, "They are cautious. We must respect that." Hannah Reed added, "Humans survive because we observe first, then act. That is what we are doing now. We show respect and we gain trust." Over the next few days, the humans and the creatures developed a cautious understanding. The creatures learned that humans did not harm the environment unnecessarily. Humans learned that the creatures were intelligent, social, and capable of communication through gestures and sounds. Ethan observed from the fleet. "We are learning again. Humans survive not by weapons or aggression, but by intelligence, patience, and observation." Meanwhile, the alien ship continued to watch. It transmitted signals to the humans, sharing information about nearby star systems and other species. Clara translated the messages carefully. "They are testing us," she said. "They want to see if humans act responsibly and intelligently, and so far we have." Liam Carter supervised preparations for a possible settlement. Humans built temporary shelters, storage units, and systems for food and water. Every action was careful, deliberate, and well-planned. Humans did not rush. They observed, learned, and then acted. In the following weeks, the humans made more discoveries. They found a forest with edible plants, a lake with fresh water, and minerals useful for building technology. The creatures that watched them became more comfortable, sometimes leading humans to hidden resources. Clara documented everything. "This planet could be our new home," she said. "We need to keep learning and preparing. Humans survive because we are clever, adaptable, and patient." Ethan and Maria trained new pilots for navigation and defense. They practiced maneuvers in case danger appeared. Humans were ready for anything. They survived because they planned, adapted, and worked together. One day, while exploring a mountain range, the scouting team discovered a cave with strange markings. The symbols looked like a language, but unlike anything humans had seen before. Clara studied the markings carefully. "Someone or something lives or lived here," she said. "We need to understand their meaning before we explore further." Lucas added, "Humans survive because we take risks carefully, not recklessly. We observe, plan, and act. That is what makes us strong." Hannah Reed reminded the team to be cautious. "Protect yourselves. We do not know if this is dangerous. Humans survive by thinking before acting." As humans explored the cave, they discovered evidence of an intelligent species. Tools, symbols, and structures showed that a civilization had existed here. Clara smiled. "This is incredible. We are learning from another species, even one that may no longer exist. Humans survive because we are curious and intelligent." Back in orbit, Liam Carter observed the alien ship. It seemed to acknowledge the humans' careful actions. The ship transmitted signals that appeared to be approval or recognition. Humans had earned respect not through force, but through intelligence and behavior. Ethan spoke to Maria. "This is exactly why humans are feared and admired. We survive because we act wisely, learn quickly, and work together. No species can match that combination." Maria nodded. "And we will continue. We do not beg, we do not fight unnecessarily. We survive and adapt." The humans continued exploring the planet, building temporary bases, studying resources, and learning about the creatures and remnants of previous civilizations. Every action was careful and deliberate. Every decision showed intelligence, patience, and unity. Days turned into weeks, and the fleet settled into a pattern of exploration and observation. Humans were safe, but they were also learning. Every planet, every creature, and every signal taught them new ways to survive. Clara continued translating alien signals and studying local species. She realized that humans could form relationships with other intelligent life without aggression. Humans survived because they were clever, patient, and respectful. Ethan and Maria trained the fleet for navigation, defense, and problem-solving. Pilots learned to maneuver through dangerous terrain and avoid hazards. Engineers improved systems based on observations. Humans survived because they learned quickly and adapted. Liam and Olivia Carter organized supplies, repaired ships, and monitored the fleet. Every human contributed to survival, showing teamwork, intelligence, and courage. Humans had left Earth without a word, without begging or fighting. And now they were proving their strength in unknown space. One day, the alien ship approached closely. Clara translated its message. "Your actions are wise, you observe, plan, and act carefully. You respect life. You are capable." Ethan looked at Maria. "They respect us, but we cannot trust them fully. Humans survive because we act wisely and carefully. We do not rely on anyone else for safety." Maria nodded. "And that is why we are strong. We survive, adapt, and learn." The humans continued their work, exploring the planet, studying the creatures, and preparing for possible long-term settlement. Every discovery strengthened their confidence. Every challenge tested their skills. Humans survived because they acted together, with intelligence, patience, and courage. By the end of Part 4, humans had proven once again that they could survive in unknown space. They had encountered intelligent creatures, discovered resources, explored unknown civilizations, and earned the respect of observing aliens. They did not beg, they did not fight unnecessarily, but they survived, learned, and adapted. Humans were no longer just a species from Earth. They were explorers, pioneers, and survivors. They had left the Council behind, and now they were shaping their own future. The galaxy was learning to notice humans, not as beggars or warriors, but as a species capable of survival, intelligence, and greatness. And as humans looked at the stars, they knew one thing for certain. No matter what dangers lay ahead, they would survive. They would adapt. They would thrive, and they would continue to show the galaxy what it meant to be human. The human fleet had traveled far beyond the stars they knew. Planets, nebulae, and black voids stretched endlessly before them, yet humans did not fear. They had faced storms, asteroid belts, strange signals, and first contact with aliens. They had survived every challenge. Now a new challenge awaited, a permanent home where humanity could thrive and continue to grow. Ethan Brooks sat in the cockpit of his ship, looking at the planet ahead. It was vast and green, with oceans, mountains, and forests. Sensors showed a breathable atmosphere, abundant water, and fertile soil. "This could be it," he said to Maria Jenkins, who adjusted the navigation systems. Our new home, Maria nodded. We need to send scouting teams first. We must understand everything before settling. Humans survive because we act carefully with intelligence and teamwork. Clara Morgan led the scouting mission. She, along with Lucas Bennett, Hannah Reed, and a few others, boarded a shuttle and descended toward the planet. As they entered the atmosphere, the sensors confirmed safe air, mild temperatures, and no immediate dangers. This is incredible, Clara said, excitement in her voice. Everything here could support humans. We just have to explore carefully and plan. The scouting team landed in a large valley surrounded by mountains. The soil was fertile, water flowed in streams, and strange but non-threatening creatures observed from a distance. Clara carefully documented everything. We have to understand the ecosystem, she said. Humans survive by observing first, then acting. That is what we do now. Hannah Reed ensured the safety of the team. Do not touch unknown plants or animals without protection, she said. Humans survive because we think first, not act recklessly. Meanwhile, back in orbit, Liam and Olivia Carter coordinated the fleet. Ships were checked, engines repaired, and supplies organized. Humans were ready to settle when the scouting team gave the signal. Every decision was careful, deliberate, and intelligent. After several days, the scouting team reported back. The planet was safe, fertile, and full of resources. Clara said, "We can build shelters, farms, and energy systems. This planet can be our new home. Humans survive because we plan, adapt, and work together." Ethan and Maria prepared to guide the fleet for landing. Pilots practiced maneuvers, engineers reinforced ships for safe landing, and medical teams checked for emergencies. Every human knew their role. Survival required teamwork, intelligence, and preparation. The fleet descended carefully, landing ships in open valleys and plains. Humans disembarked, exploring their new surroundings. Children ran through grass for the first time in weeks, scientists studied soil and water, and engineers began planning shelters and energy systems. Every action showed intelligence, care, and teamwork. Clara and Lucas explored further, discovering forests, rivers, and mountains. The creatures that had observed the humans before appeared again, cautious but curious. Humans showed respect, avoiding harm and observing behaviors. Slowly, the creatures grew more comfortable, allowing humans to interact and learn. Ethan spoke to Maria. Humans survive because we respect life, think carefully, and act together. That is what makes us strong. Maria nodded. And we will continue. Humans thrive not by force, but by intelligence, patience, and unity. The first shelters were built using materials from the land and the ships. Engineers designed systems to collect water, generate energy, and store food. Humans worked together, teaching one another and learning from the environment. Every step was careful, every decision deliberate. Meanwhile, the alien ship that had observed humans followed from a distance. It communicated with Clara and Ethan, sharing information about nearby stars and other planets. Humans learned from these signals, improving navigation, understanding potential dangers, and learning about other intelligent species. Lucas Bennett studied the planet's terrain, noting areas suitable for farming, settlements, and exploration. We can expand carefully, he said. Humans survive because we do not rush. We act wisely and with intelligence. Hannah Reed led medical and safety teams, ensuring everyone stayed healthy. Humans survived because they cared for one another, monitored conditions, and solved problems before they became threats. After weeks of preparation, humans began constructing larger settlements. Buildings were designed to blend with the environment, energy systems were established, and farms were planted. Children learned about the planet, observing plants and animals, understanding their surroundings. Humans thrived because they adapted, learned, and respected life. One day, the alien ship approached closely. Clara translated the signals. You have proven intelligence, patience, and respect. You act wisely. Your species is remarkable. Ethan looked at Maria. They respect us. But we survive because we rely on our intelligence and teamwork, not because anyone approves. Maria nodded. Humans do not need approval. We survive, adapt, and grow on our own. That is our strength. As humans settled, they began to explore farther. Clara led teams to mountains, rivers, and forests. They discovered plants and animals with potential uses for medicine, food, and resources. Humans learned from every detail, improving their technology and survival strategies. Meanwhile, engineers constructed systems for energy and water collection, scientists studied the ecosystem, and pilots trained for future exploration. Humans were preparing not only to survive, but to thrive. Ethan and Maria guided fleets for resource collection, teaching new pilots and ensuring safe navigation. Every ship, every person, every action contributed to the success of the settlement. Humans survived because they worked together, thought carefully, and adapted quickly. One day, while exploring a distant valley, Clara and her team found evidence of a previous civilization. Tools, structures, and symbols indicated that intelligent beings had lived here long ago. Clara smiled. We learn from the past. Humans survive because we observe, understand, and act wisely, Lucas added, and we do not repeat mistakes. Humans survive because we are careful, patient, and clever. Hannah Reed reminded the team to maintain safety standards. Even here, we stay cautious. Humans thrive because we respect life and plan ahead. As the humans built settlements and explored the planet, the alien ship observed. It transmitted messages showing respect and admiration. Humans had earned recognition, not through force or begging, but through intelligence, patience, and careful action. Ethan and Maria continued to train the fleet and lead exploration teams. Pilots learned to navigate difficult terrain, engineers improved shelters, and scientists studied the planet. Every human contributed to survival and growth. Liam and Olivia Carter oversaw supplies and coordination. Food, water, and energy systems were managed efficiently. Humans survived because they planned, organized, and acted together. Weeks turned into months. The settlements grew. Farms flourished, shelters expanded, and humans explored more of the planet. The creatures that had watched humans before were now part of the ecosystem, interacting cautiously but peacefully. Humans thrived because they respected life and adapted to their environment. One day, Clara received a new signal from the alien ship. It said, "Your species has survived, adapted, and thrived in unknown space. You act with intelligence, patience, and courage. The galaxy will learn from you." Ethan looked at Maria. "We did it. Humans survived every challenge, every danger, every unknown." "We have proven what humans can do," Maria smiled. "And we will continue. Humans survive and thrive because we act wisely, think clearly, and work together." As the sun rose over the new planet, humans looked at their surroundings. Mountains, forests, rivers, and oceans stretched before them. They had left Earth quietly, without a word, without begging or fighting. And now they had created a new home, thriving through intelligence, patience, and unity. Clara documented the planet and its resources, ensuring that future generations would learn from these experiences. Lucas planned future exploration, identifying areas for expansion. Hannah Reed monitored health and safety, ensuring humans could continue to grow and thrive. Ethan and Maria led fleets for further exploration and resource collection, training new pilots and ensuring the fleet remained coordinated and efficient. Liam and Olivia Carter maintained logistics, supplies, and coordination for the growing settlements. Humans had left the council behind. They had survived storms, asteroid belts, strange signals, alien encounters, and unknown planets. They had adapted, learned, and thrived. And now, on this new planet, humans were stronger than ever. The alien ship observed quietly, sending one final message. Humans have proven their strength. They survive through intelligence, patience, and unity. The galaxy will notice. Ethan looked at Maria and said, "We do not need recognition. Humans survive because we think, act, and work together. That is our power." Maria nodded. "And that is what we will continue to do. Humans thrive because we are clever, united, and determined. Nothing can stop us when we act together." As the sun set over the new planet, humans looked at the stars. They had left Earth without a word. They had faced dangers and challenges that no other species could endure. They had survived and thrived through intelligence, teamwork, and careful action. And humanity had proven, finally and completely, that when a species acts with courage, wisdom, and unity, it can overcome any obstacle. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were opportunities, challenges, and places to explore. Humans were no longer just from Earth. They were explorers, pioneers, and survivors. They had created a new home. They had faced the galaxy and proven their strength. And they would continue to thrive, showing the universe what it truly meant to be human. For the first time in centuries, humans looked to the stars not with fear, not with hesitation, but with purpose. They had survived exile. They had survived unknown dangers, and they would continue to survive and grow, shaping their own destiny. Humanity had left without a word, but their actions spoke louder than any voice. They had survived, adapted, and thrived. And in doing so, they had proven to the galaxy and to themselves the true power of humans. The new planet was alive with potential. Humans explored, built, and learned. Children ran through forests, scientists studied the environment, engineers improved systems, and pilots trained for exploration. Every human contributed. Every human played a part in survival and growth. And so the story of humanity continued, not on Earth, not under the watch of the Council, but in the vast, endless galaxy. Humans survived, adapted, and thrived. They acted with intelligence, courage, and unity, and nothing, no force, no danger could stop them. The stars awaited. Humanity was ready.